I think my body went into ketosis sometime on a Friday. Like, I can't really sleep well anyway, but lately it seems like I'm some sort of polyphasic animal, waking every 2 to 4 hours for no apparent reason. And even though I'm a little too hyper aware of the smell of my breath, I can tell that it was worse than usual for more often than normal. And according to Google, those are some signs. And I'm not invested enough to go out and buy some blood test kit just to confirm my hypothesis. Rather, I will continue to insist that being inside of this body makes me the ultimate authority on the matter, and per usual, my mind began to wonder why I relate too much to characters in movies like Forest Gump, and to things that just don't seem to exist in reality. But I digress. In that moment, I needed to leave, to walk the streets 8 shots of tequila deep and piss the fuck off in the lack of human decency that seemingly continues to swallow me up like I'm charging towards the fucking ocean with a pocket knife, unaware that you can't cut water. And Wilhelm Scream has a song called The Rip, and at the end of the verse, Trevor Riley screams in defiance that it is us against millions, and we cannot take them all. But we can take them all. And in writing that down, I still feel the tingling presence of my God complex resting somewhere just below the surface, waiting to step to anyone foolish enough to try and take something from someone who simply hasn't got a bit of faith left to lose in anyone still breathing. I mean, it all just seems so goddamn pointless. So I guess it's no surprise that I felt the urge to exit with a quickness. Drunk or not, I did not give a shit about the distance. I was pissed off and needed the type of quiet that only a long walk alone with your thoughts can provide. And later I learned that Google also says Choo-Choo's is 2 miles from my house. But in hindsight, the journey felt longer, like the time slowed. And maybe it does when you're trapped inside of your mind trying to find out how you landed in a world that you just don't belong to. And that shit was just too heavy for me to sit with. And since I needed something to eat, I stopped at a gas station about midway to my destination, and I grabbed a Gatorade and a protein bar, and I walked erratically towards the register, where I encountered the only other people in the place, the clerk and maybe his girlfriend, or soon-to-be ex, or perhaps they were on the brink of a breakthrough, and a reunion weighed in the balance, and maybe it was just chance, and I'd be forced to interrupt what seemed like a disagreement, and I can't remember what exactly invited me in, but I felt compelled to send whatever syllables I'd somehow managed to slap together and weigh in on the matter. And whatever I said didn't sit well with the chicken, so I stood there awkward, suspended in the silence, paid for my goods when prompted, and headed for the exit. But as I found the door, I stopped, I looked back again and said, listen, for what it's worth, you only get one chance. And I know I'd hate to be lying on my deathbed with a head full of regrets about every day I ever spent trying to be anything but fucking happy. And they just stood there staring at me, unmoved by the moment. But in that instant, I understood movement and the need to feel feet moving forward, even if towards nothing or no one at all.